Hi, folks. In language arts, there are many different ways to analyze reading and writing. There are different plots that can be put together, there are different um, organizational charts that can be created. One such chart or a chart I like to look at is called a T chart. Now, we all know what a T chart is. It looks like this, a T chart. And in a T chart, what you have a chance to do is to outline different parts of what you're dealing with. Outlining in the sense of on one side you have this, and the other side you have this. Let's take the Tinstar story. Now, we have to remember that Tinstar is written as a drama, mystery, um, drama or mystery, and maybe a little bit, obviously, a lot of crime involved too. But the point of the story is to take the reader through a series of events that make us more and more curious and more interested as we go along. Now, remember the station where Luke first saw the dead bodies. That's the first thing. And remember, too, the dead body, the woman corpse, the woman who was dead. Let's put it, woman who was dead. And then the coroner, 3, the coroner. And then 4, meeting the rancher. Or meeting the rancher, meeting the rancher. And then 5, the Preston sheriff. And then 6, on the crossroads. So right there is our 6 basic events that help you understand the story. This is the road that they've been on. This is where they've gone. However, on this side, you're going to find out that there's more to it than just the station. They see a massacre has taken place. They stagecoach and Luke, the stagecoach uh, guide or the stagecoach rider or the driver is the one who has his own conversations with Luke. And then that stagecoach brings the body to Preston. And in that, you have Luke expressing every emotion that could be expressed because of the fact he thinks it could be his wife, Audrey. So the right side gives you a more detailed description of what happened. The coroner that tells him it's not Audrey. Not Audrey. But that doesn't satisfy Luke. He drinks too much and meets the rancher. And it's Busby who has to calm him down and avoid a fight. But does that stop the problem? No. The rancher complains and the sheriff responds. So suddenly, what should have been a simple go out station, find the body, and then seeing the corridor and meeting the ranch, what should have been a very simple go about it, get it done routine ends up a whole lot more involved, a whole lot more detail, a whole lot more about this man, Luke Hadley, which is why you're developing the story in the first place. You are being given details that allow you and me to not only get into the story, but make it make more sense. Now, whenever you get past crossroads, the T chart continues. And that T chart allows you to see, for example, you're in crossroads. He's in crossroads. And what happens? Well, we could start with, I guess we could start. 7. What happened at Crossroads? He meets the sheriff and the banker. All seems good. And banker. And then what happens? 8. Everything is almost normal until he sees crazy Benedict, to which he then launches in the saloon and tears up the place. This could have been maybe a little bit less rambunctious, but he loses his head and he goes after him. He finds himself up against Jeff Nelson instead, as what's his name gets away. Benedict gets away, and the next thing you know, he is in jail along with Nelson. Wait a second. This was supposed to be simple. Go to the bank, see the bank is built well, leave the town, go try to find where this man might be. But a glimpse at Benedict brings him to the saloon, and suddenly at the saloon, he loses it. So the writer is doing more and more to get into our minds and also get us into the story. And as we know, he ends up in jail, and then that woman pays off the sheriff to send him away, to get Nelson out. The story continues, and as we know, Nelson gets out. Luke has to pay for the damage. He then sees Nelson at the dynamite store. Actually, let's say pays off saloon. Nelson at dynamite store, and the next thing you know, there's a shoot up from Benedict. The store is blown up. Benedict shoots at store. So everything gets more involved than it really was supposed to be. This was simply about going to find the man and trying to hunt him down and get the wife Audrey back. Then instead, it becomes so many different messes that Luke is getting into that suddenly this is more than just a story about story about chasing down a gang. It becomes an involved story about Luke and the challenges. This is all about Luke and the challenges he is facing. That's what it becomes. Luke and the challenges he is facing. But wait a second. He was supposed to be just going to get the Rhodes gang. But instead, it's becoming his challenges, who he's meeting, and the encounters he's having. That's how the story is being developed. And you know what, folks? The more the story develops, the more we want to find out what is going to happen next. That's your T-chart for you. Thank you for watching.